More Americans than ever are dealing with dementia. In fact, a new study says the number of people with dementia and Alzheimer's is a ticking time bomb. The World Health Organization says there are almost 8 million dementia cases diagnosed each year worldwide. That's a new case every 4 seconds. Here's what's really alarming when you talk about the system being overwhelmed. In the next 2 years, they expect the number of people living with dementia to almost double, from 35 million people in 2010 to more than 65 million people with dementia in 2030. The key to helping someone with dementia with full time is you have to engage with them, as seen in a clip from a documentary called Alive Inside, and this clip has gone viral. It shows this man with dementia named Henry. He spends his days slumped over in a chair, doesn't recognize his own daughter, but comes to life when a caregiver gives him an iPod so he can listen to music.
What does music do to you?
It give me the feeling of love, romance. Figure right now the world needs to come into music, singing. You got beautiful music in.
This may be very, very important in helping to animate, organize, and bring a sense of identity back to people who are out of it.
Well, you could see it there. For Henry, music made a huge difference. I'm joined now by Amy Harris, and she works with people with dementia as a recreational therapist for Providence Elder Place in Seattle. You know, many people watching out there have parents or grandparents who are going through this, and they have difficulty engaging. What do you suggest?
Well, I really like the idea of the iPod because it goes directly in the ears. Now, one thing about dementia is you'll know by working with them, the peripheral vision begins to narrow. It becomes kind of myopic. So it's important to talk very directly and make good eye contact, speak slowly. Those kinds of things are really important when interacting. And know the person's history. If you have an idea for what things that have brought joy to them in their life, then it's easy to be able to tap into that.
You work with the dementia patients, but you also work with their families, and I'm sure meet many of their family members. And what do you tell them? Because it is so hard on them when their loved one may not recognize them.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also important to not negate the reality. A person with dementia may not realize, you know, their interpretation of what's real is not going to be yours, and it's important not to argue with them. I think as a family member, remember that your role is changing, and you can facilitate joy in their life through activities. I guess it's not to, you don't want to increase any kind of aggression or cause any kind of aggression.
And you brought up activities.
Yeah.
And as a recreational therapist, you do a bunch of activities with people with dementia. If you were to suggest some of those to people out there who may be watching with their loved one, what should they be doing? How can they get engaged that way?
Yeah. Well, I think some good things that we do, physical exercise. An easy thing to do is go for a walk outside. Maybe if your mother or father or loved one likes to cook, you can cook an old recipe together. Roll out the pie crust. You know, you can braid the crust together and reminisce about that. If your loved one has a musical interest, you can bring an old instrument out and use these items as ways to reminisce about the past. And
should you focus on things that they used to love doing?
I think it's important to do that, but you can also bring new things in. What I found in the work that I do, these people are still able to feel joy in their lives. And your position is to be able to help them continue to have adventure. I think you become a facilitator. You become a person that is maybe using your own creativity to let them be able to experience that joy.
You know, you're on the front lines.
Yeah.
You're seeing the demand, and we're talking about this boom in dementia cases. Are we prepared for it? How are we going to handle it?
Well, I think I can't speak forever if we're prepared for it, but I do believe that as long as we can have people experience as much independence as possible in their lives, which can happen if we have loved ones in the family that are able to acknowledge them on a daily basis and really connect with them. With that iPod, he's able to hear that music, and it opened him up. You can do activities that they haven't been able to do. Simple as peeling a piece of fruit. You know, these things bring out sensory sensations, and it's it's important to remember that there is still a person in there. Your mother, your loved one is still alive.
You just have to pull it out.
Yeah.
Well, Amy
yeah.
Harris, thank you for the suggestions. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. It's affecting a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Maria, back to you.